Hello everybody. Today we'll talk about an email security with a little overview, what kind of threats and what are the safeguards we should make sure they're in place for any organization. We all know the email is the most important part for any organization in order to communicate. And when you talk about email security, there are some of the biggest threats to any organization's productivity and profitability. From malware to viruses to even advanced threats like email phishing, this email security can lead to breaches that can cost millions of dollars in lost business and damage to any organization's reputation. So in a nutshell, I would say the email system. Let's discuss how this email system works. There are two primary components it's made of that reside in any organization's IT infrastructure. Number one is mail client and the other one is mail servers. So when a user read or compose and then send or even store that email using an email client, okay, that mail is being formatted and sent from the email client via the network infrastructure to a mail server. What's the function of this mail server? This is like a computer. Mail server is a computer that delivers, forwards, and stores email messages. Okay, and all components, the email server, the email client, and the infrastructure that connect and support them. So all these components must be protected. So email security relies on the principles of good planning and management that provides for the security of both the email system and the IT infrastructure. So with the proper planning, system management, and the continuous monitoring, any company, any organization can implement and maintain effective security. Okay? So what can be the common threats? Because like we discussed in the beginning, that email is widely deployed, okay, and it's the best way to communicate, right? So there are common threats any email can face. We will start with the malware. Malware is its full form is a malicious software, which includes viruses, worms, Trojan horses, and spyware. Okay. And we will talk about all these things in our next video. So these attacks, if successful, they can give a malicious entity control over the workstation and servers. Then later on they can be exploited to change the privileges, to gain access to all this sensitive information, or even monitor users' activities, or perform other malicious actions. After malware, we'll talk about spam and phishing. So all these unsolicited commercial emails commonly referred to as spam. Most of the organizations or even colleges, we have different kind of firewalls like a Barracuda and different application we use to avoid those spams. And spams, we know that they are like unwanted commercial email messages. Okay, and they really can cause lots of disrupt our productivity. They can use our resource excessively, and after spam and phishing, obviously they using this spam emails, basically they are trying to trick the users to click on unwanted links. So the malwares, spam and phishing, and then talk about social engineering. So rather than hack into a system, an attacker can use email to gather all the sensitive information from an organization's users. And then a common social engineering attack is like email spoofing, where one person or the program successfully masquerades as another by falsifying the sender information. Simply like they pretend they are legit users, but they are not. And then entities with malicious intent they can gain unauthorized access to the resources using the successful attack on any mail server. So when mail server is compromised, that attacker can retrieve all users' passwords, and which can even grant the attacker access to other hosts on the organization's network. Okay, so unintentional acts by authorized users, sometimes that's also possible. We can say all the security threats, they are not intentional. Authorized users may by mistake send a proprietary or other sensitive information using email. They can expose the organizations to to legal actions or to embarrassment. What kind of security safeguards we should have in place? So like the company management, the operations, or the technical safeguards they can think of to make sure the confidentiality, integrity, and availability is in place. The National Institute of Standard and Technology, NIST, that also employ the different guidelines like implement management control, carefully plan the system implementation, secure the mail server application, where organizations they should install the minimum mail server services required and eliminate any known vulnerabilities through patches or configuration or even upgrades. And these secure the mail client. In many respects, the client side of email represents a greater risk to security than the mail server. So securely installing, configuring, and using mail client application generally includes patching and upgrading the mail client application. And the secure the transmission. So most standard email protocols send by default user authentication data and email content in the clear, that's like unencrypted. So sending data in a clear may allow an attacker to easily compromise a user account or intercept and alter unencrypted emails. So at a minimum, most organizations they should encrypt the user authentication session, even they do not encrypt the actual email data. And then securing the supporting operational environment. While the mail server and mail client, they are two primary components of an email system, the supporting network infrastructure is essential to its secure operations. Many times the network infrastructure includes such components like firewalls, routers, and IDS system. They may provide the first layer of defense between untrusted network and the email server. And also by maintaining a secure mail system, that it's like it's ongoing process. It requires constant effort, resources, and vigilance. Also, the backup data frequently is the most important aspect of this process. I would say one of the most important function of email server, which administrator they need to maintain the integrity of the data on the mail server. This is important because mail servers are often one of the most vital and exposed servers on any organization's network. And to protect against malware, all the organizations require malware scanning and spam filtering capabilities at the mail client and the mail system levels. In order to avoid all the things, they need to perform periodic security testing of the email system, which will confirm that protective measures are implemented correctly. And then on top of all the things, the NIST, it offers additional information on a mail security system, which we can access by going to csrc.nist.gov, the NIST website.